Hi, teacher friends. We have just completed report cards a couple weeks ago here at my school. And man, I gotta tell you, not my favorite part of the job. I made a video a while back about trying to use speech-to-text software in order to help with my narrative report card writing. Didn't work. It wasn't a good idea. I should probably take down the video. Yeah, wasn't great. So I was telling my friend about this video that I made, and he said, oh, you got to check out this schoolreportwriter.com or reportwriter.com. He's like, it has all these comments in there already, and it's really great, super easy to use. He heard about it from someone else. And I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. But can I be honest with you for a second? Let's be real. I was a little judgy. It's hard to admit. I was like, I don't need a comment bank to steal from. I write my own comments. They're narrative reports. I care about this. This is a really important part of my job. So I was judgy, and I didn't check it out for a while. But then finally one day I was like, well, these comments aren't writing themselves, so might as well just take a little peek. I took a peek. Amazing. I am so regretful. I don't know. I feel so bad about being so judgmental about something. And I want to show you how amazing this thing is, because honestly, what I thought was going to be standardized, kind of they're doing a great job, or just those comments you find if you Google, report card comments. I thought it would be like that. Completely wrong. The report card comments I just finished, 144 narrative comments. So I wrote 144 paragraphs. Some had 2 paragraphs about each student, have never been more personalized than what I just completed in my previous years. And it's because of this tool, right? So let me show you how it works. It's so cool. Okay, here I am. I open a new tab, School Report Writer. If you just Google, oops, not writing. Oopsies, School Report Writer. Oh my goodness. Sorry, everyone. Making mistakes. Okay, so schoolreportwriter.com, right? You can Google it, or you can put it in directly. That's really up to you. But here's what it looks like. To be completely honest, a little clunky, right? A lot of ads, and this is because it's free, right? This amazing service, you're going to see how amazing it is. It is totally free, but because of that, it has a lot of ads on here, which is kind of annoying, but worth it, right? Okay, so there are your tools, your menus, kind of your tasks are across the top here. You will want to make an account. Mine already signed in, so you can link it. Again, it's all free. Okay, so I started with my comment bank, right? So you can see here, I have several different sentences, right? The way I structured, let's start with writing maybe. The way I structured writing was I had a writing blurb, kind of like what the students were doing, right? So this is hard to explain. And that had kind of 3 parts to it, right? So this is what we did. Here was the first unit. Your child created this. The second unit we did, and then can't even remember what the third blurb was. Okay. This is just kind of the summarizing sentence of the blurb. Now, here's what's really cool about this tool. When you are making these generalized statements, you can code in when you want to use the child's name, right? And when you want to use he or she, or his or her. Those are all here. See how there's these codes? Amazing. So you can, write it in your head about someone. The comments below reflect Sean's strengths for the area of growth and have been shown through conversations in one-on-one conferences, discussions, and small group live lessons, and the work he submitted for his published pieces. But then when you're writing it for a girl, it'll automatically change. Okay, so there's my blurb. Then I go into some writing about their structure and organization. Now, I have 3 levels of comments, right? If they're emerging, developing, or proficient. Then it gives some evidence of what that actually means, right? So if a student is developing in the area of structure and organization, this is kind of what it means. If they're emerging, if they're proficient, this is what they can do, right? We're talking about what they can do. Oh, I love that part of this. Then I go on to development and elaboration. This is kind of my flow, right? Structure and organization, development and elaboration. Then this again has kind of what that means, right? So if a student is emerging, they're beginning to add these descriptions and details with guidance. Additionally, they're starting to recognize and use interesting language. If they're proficient, they're already doing that independently. Okay. Then I go on, my last one was spelling and punctuation, conventions, language and conventions. Okay, so this is kind of like a yes or no situation, right? They're either developing or they're proficient. So, and I kind of describe what each of those means. Now, after all of that, kind of talking about the content, right? Then I go into this. I wanted, each student did a reflection. I wanted that included. Now, so I wrote, in a recent reflection, name, let's say Sean, noted that he knows he is improving in writing because blah. This code leaves a blank space. So when you're creating the comment at the end, it leaves this little blank. And I did that in the blurb as well. If we can look here, right? Because I'm telling about what the student did, what they created for their published pieces. So I leave this blank space there. So the reflection, then the closing preamble, which is kind of like when thinking about next steps. And then the last sentence writing closing is all these things about what students might be working on, right? So all these skills for 3rd grades that I know my students need to work on, I put them all in here. I have this bank. And then the last sentence, which is just kind of, I feel this about all my children, all my students. So that's what that is, okay? So once you have all of these like banks, right? This flow, you have this structure, you know what you want to say, but there's blank spots in there to personalize it. It's beautiful. Then you go to create reports and your comment bank things show up here, right? So I put in my writing blurb 1, writing blurb 2. This is my flow, right? Writing blurb 3. Then I start with structure and organization. Then I go to development and elaboration. Then I go to language and conventions. Then I want to add in the student's reflection. See, I'm like set in. This was so hard for me to do when I'm just typing it out. It's hard for me to remember this flow. This, it just streamlines it so nice. Okay, so I do the reflection, then the closing preamble, then the actual closing, then the last sentence. Okay, beautiful. So there's my flow, right? Now I can put in a name. Let's put Brent. That's my husband's name. He is a male, okay? This is where the magic happens. You just click through these things, okay? So during the first blah, 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 and you can see here, it puts in his name because I use that code, right? The pound sign and the capital N. And there's that blank space I was talking about before, right? Students were able to choose this topic, genre, format. Brent created a narrative piece about the time he went into his grandmother's cellar. Or an actual student made something like this. He published on Google Slides. Okay, so I add in that little bit because every student made something different. Then the second unit I had a choice, right? They could do narrative or informational. So let's pretend Brent did narrative again, and he created a fantasy story about Minecraft characters that he published as an ebook. Okay, let's just pretend I spelled that wrong, just so, because spell check happens in this, which is really nice. Okay, then here's my next blurb. That's writing blurb 3. It has his name. It has where I put the he, the pound sign, hashtag E, or the H. It puts all that in. Okay, so now I'm dropping down to my next part, which is all about the kind of the standards, right? Writing structure and organization. Brent is definitely proficient. If I click this, puts in a line break. Is that amazing? Okay, so now I have my first paragraph. Here I'm on to my second paragraph. He's developing in these skills of development and elaboration. What can I say? So then I click there, and he's proficient in language and conventions, right? And I also added in this drop-down menu because when I was thinking about my students, I know that not all students who are doing language and conventions proficiently could do commas and apostrophes without guidance. So I wanted to even add in this so that I could say if the kid was doing it with guidance or without the need for guidance. Brent, he's so amazing, he could do it without guidance. Okay. Then I want to drop down to a next paragraph. So I'll put this. In a recent reflection, Brent said that he knows he's improving writing because he likes it. In my real comments, they were a lot more detailed about what the kid actually said in their reflection, but for time, Okay, when thinking about next steps and goals for semester 2, and then I think about what are his next steps for real? And these were all written based on my students, right? So I know what these kids need, and he's definitely gonna need to work on checking his errors, right? He just kind of flies through his stuff. So I have that there. And then last sentence, I'm excited to see him build his identity as a writer. So now, here it is. I can click Show Final Report. There's my report card comment. 378 words, 2,342 characters. Then another thing, because I have Grammarly installed, it's like another check, right, for that spelling and grammar piece. So I can see, oh, yep, there was that word I spelled wrong. Oh, here, there's accidentally 2 paragraphs. 2 periods. Thinking about the next steps. Yep, there we go. Now I can copy this and put it wherever I need to. So when I was doing my comments, I was working in Google Sheets, and I would just copy and paste over. As soon as the comment was done, you copy, you paste it into Google Sheets, boom, move on to the next kid, which you clear it, you think about the next kid, Caitlin, who's a female, that's me, and then you go through the same process again. Caitlin created an informational piece about blah, 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 blah. And here's why this is really great. Let's be honest with each other. As teachers, you get to the end of your report card comments, you have maybe 5 kids left, and you think, that kid's pretty much like that kid. I could just kind of use the same comment, right? Just change the names. We don't want to admit we do it, but I know y'all do it. Or you change around bits and pieces, right? And you don't, not everything is written from scratch, I guess, is what I want to say. And sometimes doing that doesn't actually make you really mindfully think about the student and look through their work and have those papers out. At least it didn't for me. And with this, through each step of this clicking through, I really have to stop and think about, okay, Caitlin, what did she create? I have my document here. Yep, that was right. She did this. And it brings me back to that piece. Then I do the second piece. I would think about their language and conventions. I have those pieces open. I'm looking through them. I have my graded rubrics. I'm thinking, oh yeah, they did this on the first one, but they improved on the second one. So I'm going to do the improved one. like it takes away all the brain power of remembering the structure and remembering the flow. And it takes all that extra space to just think about really, truly writing authentic comments that are meaningful and 100% about what the student can actually do. And for that, I think School Report Writer is absolutely amazing. Okay, now let me show you one more thing that I'm using for this now. Okay, so I'm going to take away all these because this isn't for report cards. That's a little bonus because I don't like sending, just those standardized, your child is blah, 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 you're da, da, da. Okay. And so I had about 10 students not do an assignment, right? And so I wrote a little paragraph about what I want to say to parents in a message, right? Hello, I am writing to inform that blah, blah, has not been completing these. My records show that da, 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 in the last 7 days, they need to do this. Please let me know if you're having trouble logging in. Thank you for your support, right? And I needed to send this to 10 different parents, about 10 different kids. So I used this, right? So it's just one thing. Oops. I click it. There it is. Show final report. Copy it. Paste it over to we use Seesaw. So I paste it over to Seesaw. Send it to the message. Send it to the parents, I mean. Okay. I clear it. Next kid. Brent. He's a boy. There it is. Show final report. No checking for gender pronouns, none of that. It's all done, right? Copy it, move it over to Seesaw. My next kid, Jas, she's a girl. And there it is again, show final report. It just streamlined these things that it's okay to do this quickly. So yeah, we send weekly messages. So I'm thinking about using this for like just an update your child or, the hashtag N to say the child's name. Brent is attending all calls on time, doesn't need any reminders, he's participating. But then I could also have attending most calls on time, sometimes needs a reminder, always participating, sometimes participating, right? It can make these things personalized, make these messages super personalized without taking so much time, right? Time is precious when you're a teacher. And so yeah, this is an amazing tool. That was a lot of talking I just did. So I'm going to keep this wrap up short. Schoolreportwriter.com, amazing. I totally suggest you use it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. See you soon.